The next encounter, I went out to the barn to get I think it was a baseball or something like that. And I heard a noise on the other side of the barn. And I go take a look. And there is this giant insect-like being. It resembled like a praying mantis. And I just look at it and I started screaming. As I did, he sprayed me with some type of bluish-gray liquid. I ran away from the barn and I noticed that this grayish liquid was evaporating very quickly. I was very terrified. I mean, it's like, what in the world am I looking at? And for an 8-year-old, I mean, you don't know what to think. There was one time I was going over to a friend's house, and I'm walking behind the barn and going through a field. And I get the impression I am being watched, but I didn't see anyone. And then I hear a sound like the mooing of a cow, and I see a head coming up from behind a bush. And I'm looking at it, and I'm saying, is that a head? Are those eyes? I start getting scared. And then suddenly I said to myself, why is it so bright? And I just fainted or just fell down and curled up into a ball. And there were several little grays standing around me. But the next thing I know is that I hear 3 beeps and I am standing chest deep in these weeds. And I don't know how I got there. I was in the back field. I was looking for arrowheads. I happened to glance up and I see about 8 or 9 little blue guys drop from the sky and they hit the ground running straight toward me. I took off toward the house. I went around in front of the house. I looked underneath our house because it was on pillars and I could see their legs on the other side. And then they just turned and walked away. That night, I'm looking out the window, and who should I see but several of the little guys. Then I see them come into my room, and they take me outside. And we floated up to some type of craft. I am inside a room, a well-lit room, with one of the little grays, and a woman comes in. She has a long rod in her hand. She tilts my head back. A little gray guy holds me, and she thrusts the rod up my nose. She inserted something inside my nose. And after she pulled it out, I said, "You hurt me, you hurt me." And she says, "Let me see." And she looked at me and she made the pain go away. You know how we tag whales and stuff like that? I think there were multiple crafts, but I only saw them one at a time. But they were round, oval-shaped, very bright. Sometimes they were dark. When they were around, there is just an incredibly beautiful silence. I mean, it was like I was inside a vacuum or something. It's the insect being. He is always there. This is my other body. I quickly gave it back to me. It kind of scared me. There's the little grays. They were small. I kind of got the impression they were workers. The hairy guy, it was his eyes that always got me. There was the insect being. He reminded me of a praying mantis. He was frightening, but he always spoke to me as if I was a child. We're in space. Or at least it seemed to me we were in space. This is on the other side of the portal. Then it closes up, and I am someplace else. I was doing some painting, and then all at once, the wall opens up, and there is Crescent, and she's very stressed out. And she says, "David, the baby's dying." And I go, "Baby? What baby?" "Your baby, but it's dying." And I said, "Show me my baby." At first, she wouldn't do it, and I had to yell it out 3 times, really loud. "Show me my baby." She picks the baby up out of some container and holds it out in front of her. and the baby's just like dangling. And I say, no, 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 don't hold the baby like that. Cradle the baby in your arms. Listen, I've got to come there. No, you're not allowed. My baby's dying and I can't come there. Watch this. And I go and I pass out on my bed. The next thing I know, I'm there. The insect being comes over and he's rather upset with me. He says, what are you doing here? And I say, my baby's dying. I want my baby. And I see Crescent holding the baby. The baby is not moving. And I reach over to touch it. And just as I touch it, like static electricity jumped from my hand to the baby. And the baby moved. Maybe I was imparting some of my energy to it. And I said, wow, did you see that the baby's moving? The insect being is looking at me, and he says, come with me. And we go into another room filled with babies. And I'm looking at them, and I say, oh my God, whose babies are these? He points to me. I wasn't so much as creeped out as I was surprised. I just like, whoa, no. I could not believe it at first. And, but they were my babies, and I had to help them.
The autopsies we did, we had a mantis being with about 5 other scientists in there. And we were working on a regular, actually human, but an extraterrestrial human that was not from Earth, that was born in somewhere else. And they were a lot larger than us, probably another foot or 2 taller, I think 7.5 feet to say the least, like the size of an NBA player. Okay. And it was a very white albino looking skinned blue-eyed person that I don't know why we were operating on him, but they did bring the mantis in because the mantis was able to somehow reactivate the brain through electric stimulation from them, even through a suit, and can memory recall what happened to the person before they died.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And that's why sometimes they are brought in. And they're very docile, very gentle beings. And when it's not that serious of a situation, they can be really funny.
How much like a mantis's face would this face of this being look like? Or
it is dead on. On the mantis, it is dead on that triangular shape with the bulging eyes. And it's all the same color. You know, their face and eyes are exactly the same color, so it's a little weird. They're usually a pale green, and they can change color at will.
Really?
Yes. And it's neat to see them in deep thought when they're doing these processes because it's a wave of rainbow light going back and forth through their face.
Really?
You kind of can get mesmerized, actually, by it.
Wow.
I always love when they do that. I get so captivated, and I'm looking at them through the actual helmets that we use, these large glass spacesuit helmets, and they're just amazing to look at, especially when they move too. Like I talked about these other ETs that move so fluid, but they're just more angled. Their bodies are just more angled. You know, they don't have the articulation that we do in our joints. It's usually one way or the other, but very precise.
1963, in Covina, California, 17-year-old Linda Porter reported waking up aboard an alien spacecraft. She described being led by a gray alien to a room where she encountered a tall, praying, mantis-like being. This event marked the beginning of multiple alien encounters that Porter experienced over the years. It wasn't until decades later, at the age of 45, that Porter reached out to investigative journalist Linda Moulton Howe, providing detailed accounts and drawings of her experiences. These drawings were later included in Howe's book, Glimpses of Other Realities, highlighting the peculiar nature of the mantis-like aliens, which are not commonly reported in alien abduction narratives. This encounter marked the beginning of what would become a series of mysterious interactions with these alien beings throughout Linda's teens and into her 20s. At the age of 45, Linda felt compelled to share her experiences with the outside world. She reached out to Linda Moulton Howe, an investigative journalist with a keen interest in the unexplained. Linda Porter's letter to Howe was the start of a significant exchange. The inclusion of a praying mantis-like alien in Linda's narrative added a layer of intrigue and peculiarity to her story. Such beings, described as tall, slender, and insect-like, with an intelligence that belies their frightening appearance, are not commonly reported in alien abduction scenarios. Experts have noted that while various types of aliens have been described by those claiming encounters, the mantis type remains one of the most peculiar and rare. These encounters with mantis-like beings and other aliens led Linda to believe she was part of a larger, more profound experiment. The aliens, particularly the mantis type, seemed to be in a position of authority, possibly orchestrating the abductions. According to Linda, these beings were deeply interested in the human soul, or what she referred to as the animus. They seemed to be studying the essence of what makes us human, particularly the journey of the soul at the moment of death and its cycle of reincarnation. Linda's also recalled being shown 3 cylinders by the aliens, each containing a human in a state of suspended animation. This imagery, coupled with her ongoing interactions with these beings, brought her to a profound conclusion. These extraterrestrial entities, including the initially terrifying praying mantis, were not just visitors, but were deeply involved in the evolution of life on Earth. She posited that they had manipulated DNA in evolving primates, creating various models of life forms, and were continually monitoring the evolution of these creations. Linda Porter's encounters with these otherworldly beings, particularly the mantis-like aliens, opens a Pandora's box of questions about the existence of extraterrestrial life and their possible role in shaping the course of human evolution. Whether these accounts point to a deeper truth or are merely the product of an imaginative mind, they undeniably add a fascinating chapter to the annals of the unexplained and the mysterious.
In this video, shared to YouTube by Flag on the Play, a bit of news coverage is enough to make many people question whether they are living in a simulation. The video clip comes from a live news broadcast. Reporters watch from the ground as the Pope conducts a prayer for those affected by the pandemic. He stands in a dark window of the Vatican, his bright white clothes illuminated by the sun outside. When he concludes his prayer, he slowly turns and begins to walk away from the window. You would expect to see him gradually fade into the darkness of the room as he walks away from the light of the window. However, something strikingly different happens. The Pope turns away from the window and pauses for a moment. Then he disappears in the blink of an eye, leaving behind only the dark window where he had just been standing. How could such a shocking thing happen in the middle of a live broadcast? Some viewers of the video believe the answer is simple, that the broadcast wasn't really live and we're seeing an awkward cut in the film. However, others have their own theories. Some suggest that it was a glitch in reality, and there are those who believe the Pope is exhibiting terrifying demonic powers. So far, no one can say for sure what caused this bizarre event.
The important point, and the disturbing one, is that he saw slave labor on the moon, and the people who were directing it were these tall Nordic-looking fellows, one of whom could see Swan. And this has been reported by other remote viewers, where sometimes when they're sent to a target, whether it's a contemporaneous target or whether it's some event in the past, they're witnessed by whoever's there,
right,
as if like they're a ghost, and those people are seeing a ghost.
Yeah.
Well, this Nordic on the dark side of the moon saw Swan, and he got the distinct impression like the guy was telling him telepathically, why the fuck are you here? You don't belong here.
Right.
Get out of here. After Swan was sent, we kept sending people to the moon, remote viewers. And we distinctly got the message from these guys on the moon, do not keep sending people here. This is off limits. And we didn't listen to them. And the last viewer that we sent up there, his soul is trapped on the moon. His body is in a coma in a special medical facility run by the CIA. And his family has been given like medical compensation or whatever. They told him, like, they told his family that the guy had died in the line of duty or whatever. And he's been held in stasis for years and years. as they wait for his soul to come back from the moon, where apparently there's the capacity to lure and trap somebody's consciousness, which they finally did to one of these CIA remote viewers after repeatedly telling them not to surveil whatever's going on.